have to use headphones.
I'm sorry.
God damn it. Okay, my voice is loud enough.
Hey. Brr, brr, brr.
Y'all know Dustin Hoffman didn't think Tootsie was a comedy?
Oh, did you know who's most recently Tootsie? Greg from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
Is Greg back?
No.
Oh.
No, I mean he's on Broadway.
Oh, he's Broadway Tootsie.
Yes.
Oh, sick. I keep forgetting Tootsie's on Broadway.
Yes.
Welcome to Movies I Watched in Film School. I'm Brianna.
I'm dying.
Kyle is here.
Hi, I'm Jake.
And today we watch Children of Men.
The Man Babies.
The Man Babies.
Let's talk about man
Babies.
Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about Children of Men.
So I think general consensus was we all had negative emotions regarding Children of Men.
Man, I'm about to use my one swear. Fuck this movie.
Like, I've seen worse movies,
Yeah.
but like, I don't know. I could have gone without watching that one.
Yeah, for real. Like, it was a very well-made movie with a lot of plot holes, and also
An outlook on the world that just kind of makes me mad.
Yes, yeah. Also, not even, like... I figured it wasn't supposed to be subtle, but, like it could have been a little less on the nose with your weird fascism.
Yeah.
I just seem kind of confused. Like,
Yes.
I don't know. There was a bit at the beginning where they're kind of explaining it. Like, the intro scene, where they're kind of explaining that no one's had babies in, 18 years. Like, the youngest person on Earth is, 18 years old. And they're sort of talking about him, and they're also, because it's, the news feed, and they're sort of cutting it in with, the immigrant crisis and, exporting people, and I thought they were going to do more with that. And it was just kind of a set dressing. And,
Yeah. It's kind of like a B plot.
it just didn't even really make sense, because, we kept talking about this through the movies, you're worried about underpopulation for some reason, even though every fucking place that I swear again, every place that we've seen in this movie has, too many people in it.
Too many.
Just way too many.
Yeah,
It's real dense.
And yet you're so worried about underpopulation that the anxiety of not being able to have children has ended the world somehow. But also, you're so worried about underpopulation you keep, exporting people. And it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, this movie has all of my weird, least favorite sci-fi things.
Yeah.
Its treatment of women, its treatment of people of color, its shot composition, which is so I watched this in an intro to film class. Should have started with that. And the reason we watched it was for that long take at the end in the war zone. That was it. That was why we watched the movie.
The saving grace.
Yeah.
Of that and Michael Caine, but we'll get to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. For those of you listening that haven't picked up on it, Children of Men is about London in the semi-near future. Well, actually, just the near future. It's 2027.
Oh yeah.
Where no one has been born in 20 years.
Yeah.
And that, for whatever reason, turns it into a dystopian Orwellian nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no one can quite figure out why, but also it kind of doesn't have a damn thing to do with that.
Yeah.
And they don't really explain, the link between the lack of children and what is going on, why the last stronghold is London, you know?
Yeah, no, there's a weird montage where they're watching news clips of other, major cities falling, and it's just, stock riot footage.
Yeah.
And it's just, why?
Yeah.
It doesn't...
Y'all care about babies this much?
Also, they kept, in the background, I kept seeing these ads, on billboards that said, skipping fertility tests is a crime. Implying that they make every woman every so often go in and get some kind of fertility test, and that if they were to come back fertile, they would probably be forced to have children.
Mm-hmm.
That's the dystopian nightmare, guys.
Yeah.
Big time.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the thing the movie should have been about, but instead it's a billboard in the background.
Yeah.
Jake, go ahead.
Oh, kind of lost what I was thinking of, but essentially, how do also like, they never mention whether or not they actually checked if it was men or women that were the ones that were infertile. Like, it fully could have just been dudes that are just firing blanks.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they did kind of mention that women started miscarrying.
Yeah.
Fair.
But that wasn't until like an hour into the movie, and honestly, that scene didn't make a whole lot of sense.
No, it was kind of shoehorned in, probably because someone told the director, "Hey, this doesn't make any damn sense."
Like,
Yeah.
you know what it was? It was probably just too many dudes drinking Mountain Dew. And it was just loading them with dummy rounds. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's weird. It's a weird movie. Like I can kind of see the point they were trying to make, and like while I don't know, ideologically, I disagree with the point that they're trying to make.
Yeah.
But it still could have been a decent movie that I would have enjoyed, but also it wasn't. Like,
Yeah.
Honest. Oh, you go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it came multiple times. It came so close to saying something
Yeah.
that it just immediately shot itself in the foot over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of the biggest problems I had was that it introduced the refugee plot, and then both doesn't pay enough attention to it, and then also pays enough attention to it that subtracts from the main plot as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, I feel like even though, you know, you could tell a good message there, in the context of this movie, it could have been cut, and the premise that they were, you know, launching the movie off of could have been given a little bit more attention.
Yeah.
Like, if it was
Yeah.
just, oh, hey, everything's normal, but we can't have babies and people are freaking out about it, and maybe some people are shitty. Could have gone over a little bit better.
Yeah.
Than kind of dividing the watcher's attention between, oh, hey, you can't have babies, there's this horrible fascist government going on, and also, they're just exporting people.
They could have made basically the same movie, but it's not. This is the first pregnant woman that we've had in 20 years. It's like just this one woman could have been special for any reason, and we would like to smuggle her out of the country.
Yeah. The pregnancy could have been literally anything. She's immune to a virus or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wouldn't have made a difference.
And they wouldn't have had to do the scene where she was posing with calves in a barn.
God.
yeah, that was so
It's-
weird.
Yeah, the way they shot women in this movie was really strange. Like,
Yeah.
And I feel like science fiction as a genre does this a lot with female characters. Is like, with Julian, they were framing her as like cold, distant, and mean until like right up until the very end, where they try to make her sympathetic, and then they just fridge her,
Yeah.
and like immediately like sympathy for her fridged.
Yeah.
Well,
Bop bop.
the other thing is like we don't really have any reason to care about her. We don't really have any reason to care about anybody that's not Key, and that's only because she's the plot of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Key and Theo, because he is our straight white guy.
Well, he's
Yeah.
our like point of view character. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I don't
honestly,
care about him.
the POV character could have been Key, and it would have been
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it would have been fine.
She
that
was
would
a
actually been a little bit more interesting of a movie.
yeah. Key was a
Yeah.
prop. Like, that's all she
Yeah.
was. She was the MacGuffin. She was
Yeah.
get object from point A to point B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's like exactly the problem I have is like, especially like it's fully just that shot of her with cows. Just like, they had to get her naked to show you her fucking pregnant belly. They couldn't just be like, oh, she's pregnant.
Yeah, she's doing this in a barn in a pen full of baby cows. Takes off her weird dress things. So first you get a tit shot.
Yeah.
yeah, they pan down, show her boobs, and then they show his face, and
Yeah.
he's like awestruck, and it's like, and you think for a second that like he's like, oh my god, boobs, and then they pan back, and she's pregnant, but now she's like covering herself, which I
Yeah.
also thought was really weird, because it's like, no, if you didn't want him to see your tits, you shouldn't have taken your dress off.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like it's very weird that now you're like you like the director didn't want the boobs and the pregnancy belly in the same shot,
Yeah.
which is very
Oh,
weird.
yeah, that's
Yeah,
gross.
Like,
it's
there's
really gross.
A lot of nasty things to unpick there.
The one thing I would say there is I feel like they're aiming for like the classical like image of a pregnant woman where they're cradling their stomach and covering their chest.
Right, but we didn't need
But
the cows for that.
The
Yeah,
cows
we did
are
not
completely
need the cows
unnecessary
for that.
for that. But
Yeah, well, also, yeah, I know.
I
I
feel
just,
like that is just the imagery they're calling to there.
that's fair, but I think there is also a lot to unpack with that image.
Yes,
Yeah.
Just
absolutely.
like covering any part that somebody might find titillating and being
Yeah.
like, no, I am
Yeah.
a completely non-sexual being. I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, and also, yeah, just the whole thing was weird because
Yeah.
especially since in a later scene she's trying to tell someone she's pregnant and she just pulls her dress tighter so you can see her prego belly.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, why didn't she do that?
Yeah. Like, pregnant belly is like, the shape is pretty universal. You can tell the difference between someone's belly and a pregnant belly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or just lift up the shirt from below
Yeah.
and just be like,
Yep.
it's my belly.
Yeah. It just
Look upon my pregnancy.
well, because I thought that was gonna be like she's used to sort of being like examined because she probably would be. She's probably surrounded by people all the time that are like,
Oh my god, you're pregnant.
yeah, and like want to touch her, and so maybe she doesn't have great like boundaries around herself and like who gets
Fair.
to see her. But then they didn't do anything with that.
Yeah.
It was
No.
just we wanted to get some boobs in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that definitely was a
It was-
bit
Yeah.
extra.
It was
Yeah.
Big time, yeah.
Yeah.
God. And so one element, and I'm going to pass the mic to Allie here in a second,
Oh, God.
because, no, we were talking about it a fair bit. There's this group in the movie, they're supposed to be like the resistance movement against the fascist government. They're called the Fishes. It's the outfit that Julian, we were talking about her a little bit earlier, that's supposed to be the outfit that she's part of. They're trying to help smuggle Key to wherever she's trying to go. And then it presents the other problem with this kind of storytelling.
Oh yeah. How movies like this about like where a large part of the movie is always the debate. Actually, no, they didn't really do anything with this either. But the debate between do we go the like above ground, like we talk to the government route, or do we go through the like criminal route and like with the freedom fighters? And in every one of those movies, the freedom fighters always turn out to be the bad guys because like it's not even like the movie always refuses to engage with the people's actual beliefs. It's just they turn out to have some kind of ulterior motive, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Like the movie doesn't engage with their beliefs of immigrants because they never really even explain what their beliefs are, like just that they want to help immigrants, and for some reason they do that by bombing random places and then towards the end of the movie breaking into a refugee camp and just killing immigrants.
Yeah.
Just starting a war zone in the middle of a
Yeah.
refugee camp with a bunch of unarmed civilians.
Which doesn't make any sense.
Collateral damage, yay.
But you also find out while they're there that they're not actually helping Key because they want to help her because ideologically that's what they would want to do. It's because they want a pregnant woman and later a baby to be a symbol of their movement
Yeah.
so that they can get more people in the movement, but they also don't explain why they would want that.
Yeah, we have the baby, we have the power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, for background, Key is portrayed as it appears to be an African immigrant.
Yeah.
Yes. Just for reference.
Yeah, she just has like a vague like Pan-African accent.
Yes.
And they call her Key, and it's spelled in the subtitles as K-E-E, but she never mentions like where she's from.
No,
Yeah.
we get no background on her.
Yeah.
We get plenty on Theo.
Yeah,
Yeah.
plenty.
Yeah.
We get like the smallest bit of background, and it's like her finding out she was pregnant, and that's all we found out. Like we didn't learn about where she came from, or what she was really wanting out of the pregnancy. Like they just mention, oh, she found out she was pregnant, thought about killing herself, decided not to because she felt her baby kick, and that is it. That is all they do with her.
I missed that part.
Yeah.
But
It was like 2 seconds.
The part I did get, and going back to what you said earlier about how Key would make a much more interesting point of view character, is like there's also a bit where she's talking about how she's not quite sure who the father is. She had been having sex with a couple different men at that point, and then she started to get pregnant, but she's never seen a pregnancy and doesn't know what they are, and so she thought there was something wrong with her, and like that's a more interesting movie.
yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Yeah. I would be much more interested in seeing the story of the first woman to get pregnant in 18 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where, like, it's never even been discussed with her what pregnancy is, or, like, how to deal with it.
Yeah. And not to mention that if they had leaned more into that, they could address, made it an allegory for how some places have very, very poor sexual education.
Yeah.
And there are people that just don't know until it's like, oh, hey, I'm having some pains going on.
Yeah.
And it's contractions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, yeah, basically it portrays, like... It portrays a lose-lose situation where you have evil, faceless fascists and an amoral, evil resistance movement
Yeah.
that are they're portrayed as essentially the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's sort of, I think, where I ideologically disagree with this
Yeah,
movie.
for sure.
Like, you still could have made an interesting movie out of that, but I don't, yeah.
The one thing I really don't care for is, like, I get if they had made, like, oh, hey, these guys are some extremists in that group.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only, like, the only image of that group you're shown.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't see, like, oh, hey, here are the guys that are just out there protesting peacefully.
Yeah.
No, you just see only the people who are, oh, hey, we're going to shoot this guy in the head because we need to find out where the pregnant lady is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or, like, honestly, you see them killing a lot of refugees, which is insane, because, like, the whole thing is that they're supposed to be, like, pro-immigrant, pro-refugee, like, trying to help people, and then on screen you see a lot of them killing refugees, like...
Yeah, for real. You got two people killing refugees a ton in this movie. You have faceless soldiers, and then you have white people with dreadlocks.
Yeah.
It's almost the entirety of the pro-refugee group. Like, you see maybe a couple, like, people that you would classify as would fit in that group of refugees. Mm-hmm. But the rest of them are just white people with dreadlocks.
Yeah, it's a bunch of white assholes.
Well, the other thing also is once we get into the refugee camp, other than a couple of, like, random, like, people, like, screaming from the crowd, like, when they first get in and they're sort of in a crowd and a bunch of people are trying to, like, grab them and be like, come, I have a place for you to stay, that kind of thing, most of the, like, refugees, who the movie is essentially about... The refugee crisis, most of them don't have speaking roles because most of them don't speak English in the movie.
Yeah, and we have the subtitles on. It doesn't tell us what they're saying. It just says screaming in foreign language.
Like, they thought they had something to say, but they just don't. Like, it's just set dressing because, like, they don't... They don't even, like, Mariska, they meet in the refugee camp, and then she kind of shelters them, and then when she realizes what's happening, she, like... goes out of her way to make sure that they get out safely.
Yeah.
And she's a big part of the movie, and she's like the plot doesn't work in the, like, last third of the movie without her. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have any speaking lines because she doesn't speak English.
Like, she yells a few things. Like, she yells a few words in English, but that's about it.
Yeah. But it's just, like, bad.
Yeah.
Or, like, no.
Yeah.
Boat.
Yeah.
On a side note, did they ever mention where they were trying to get her?
The Humanity Project.
Yeah, the Human Project. They were trying to get her to a boat that was supposed to be nearby called the Tomorrow.
Yeah.
They also never mentioned what the Humanity Project
No,
is.
They never really went into any detail on that.
Infuriating. It's like, this entire movie is just a bunch of dropped plot threads.
Honestly,
it really is.
Watching this movie makes me want to read the book to see if it is any better and explains anything more.
Like, honestly, if y'all want a good version of the basic form of this plot, do yourselves a favor and play The Last of Us.
Or read The Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the show. I can't speak for the show, but the book's good.
I feel like also, this has like there's like a thing in genre stuff, like mostly in sci-fi, but there's like a lot in just general, like, genre movies where people act like they're very, like, intellectual, and then you watch them and it's like this, where it's like, no, this movie pretended to say things. This movie name-dropped things that it might say. Mm-hmm. It did not say anything. In fact, it actually has some pretty messed up stuff if you actually look at it for longer than a minute.
Yeah.
But because it's in this, like, they have slapped this grainy gray filter over everything and everybody's sad all the time. We're going to talk about how smart it is. I'm trying so hard not to swear.
I get it. I've been trying to.
I'm just so mad.
No, I'm picking my words so you can have all of my bleeps. So,
thank you, babe.
yeah.
Have you talked about Hippie Grandpa?
Not yet.
No.
The only
I
good
believe
thing
it's
in
time
this
to talk
movie.
about Hippie
Yeah,
Grandpa.
we need the light
Yeah.
at the end of this poorly filmed tunnel.
we have-
I would not say the light.
No, we have two solid things in this movie, and it's Michael Caine's performance and a passably shot climax.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start with Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love him so much.
I know.
So Michael Caine plays, I'm not sure if he's just, his name is Jasper. I'm not sure if these are Theo's parents. Theo is the main character, by the way. Or our, like, the
Plain-faced McWhite dude.
yeah, plain-faced McWhite dude.
A very forgettable performance by Clive Owen.
Yeah.
Oh, is that who that is?
Yeah.
Is that what you were calling him, Clive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you just pulled that name out of a hat.
Nah.
I was really confused. No, because Kyle was like, Theo's not a name. I've never met anyone named Theo. And then you started calling him Clive. I was like, that name's not any less silly.
Yeah. No, that's his real one.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember him in your favorite movie ever, Closer?
No, I scrubbed
Yeah.
that film from my mind. Again, you mentioned Closer, and then I had like a brain hiccup where I remembered that we were talking about Closer and how much I hated it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in about 10 minutes, I'm going to forget that anyone mentioned that movie.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's for the best.
Real talk.
Yeah, you're just Men in Black yourself every time someone brings it up.
Just internally.
Yeah.
What?
I can think of 3 Theos, including the dude from Children of Men. There's Theo, Children of Men.
Mr. Children?
Yes, Mr. Children of Men. Theo, played by Catherine Zeta-Jones in The Haunting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And,
the only good Theo.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Yeah.
4, excuse me, because essentially the same character appears in The Haunting of Hill House. And then Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show. Those are the only, like, 4.
The only Theos that have ever existed.
Yeah, 3.5 Theos.
There's always 3.5. There will always be 3.5.
Well, I mean,
When one falls, someone
Teddy
else will pick up
Roosevelt
the half
was
mantle.
a Theodore.
Right, but he wasn't... Say Theo Roosevelt. Try to let that roll off your tongue.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it. He's
It's
gonna
horrible.
come out of his grave and beat the shit out of you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Theodore Roosevelt with a gold chain. That's
He
Theo Huxtable.
subscribes to Old Men with Gold Chains monthly.
I say that's a good issue. But anyway, so we're getting off track here.
That's made Mexico.
Yeah, Panama Canal, baby. Okay, so Michael Caine in this movie is doing his best Tommy Chong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Tommy Chong and the good parts of George Harrison.
Yeah. Yeah, he's just an old hippie, and he has a greenhouse that's like connected to his living room where he grows specialty weed. Yeah. And I'm like, I want to hang out with like weed grandpa Michael Caine.
Yeah, he just sits around with his long hair, jamming out to old records, like selling pot to the local guards,
Yeah.
and like taking care of his wife and his pets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just chilling. He's living his best. And oh my god, is simultaneously like the best and most heartbreaking character in the whole thing.
Absolutely.
And I feel like there are only a few actors that can like tread that fine line, and Michael Caine was like the choice.
Oh yeah.
Like he can do that. He, because you mentioned the 3 Michael Caines. The 3 acceptable Michael Caines, which is Children of Men, Jasper Michael Caine, Austin Powers' dad Michael Caine, and Alfred from
From Top Down, my favorite.
Batman Michael Caine.
Top Down, my favorite Michael Caine's. Hippie Grandpa, Austin Powers' dad, Alfred. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, you did say
And then
I'm sorry.
and then I swung in with Ebenezer Scrooge from A Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the 4 Michael Caines.
Yes.
They're like the Furies. But for acting.
There's also lest we forget,
Oh no?
Jaws the Revenge Michael Caine. He's
I've never
amazing.
seen that.
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Also, The Italian Job, the movie he's probably best known for.
No, I haven't seen that since I was a kid.
I don't care about Mark Wahlberg.
He's not in that one. He's in the one from, like, the 60s.
Oh, okay, never mind, I'm in.
Yeah, he's in the one from the 60s.
I didn't know that the Mark Wahlberg one was a remake.
I saw it when I was like 12, and all I remember is that they have Mini Coopers, and they're like synchronized driving.
Yeah, they're stealing gold. Yeah.
In Mini Coopers, and it requires synchronized driving
Yes.
for some reason.
It's organized by Seth Green. Yes.
There's like a weird, like a weird
yeah, he's in
overhead
that too.
shot where they're like driving it like in patterns, like 2 or 3 Mini Coopers.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to know is whether or not I was going nuts right now. Like.
Yeah. No, this does not happen in Children of Men.
No.
It should have.
Yes.
It would have really jazzed things up.
Yeah,
If-
it made it way less of a downer.
A little more product placement in Children of Men, please.
Yeah, as they just outrun the fascist government
In
with their
Mini Coopers.
yes. Michael Caine just takes him out to the barn, and it turns out he's the same guy from The Italian Job in the 60s. They dust off the Mini, and it's like, all right, we're going to deliver this baby in style. And they just get going.
That was a good Michael Caine.
Yeah,
Every once in a while, I pull out a good one.
I like how... One thing I liked, though, that I thought was interesting was how you learn a lot of his backstory from the news clippings around his house.
Yes.
Yeah,
About
that
how
was
they-
well done.
Yeah.
Like, how him and his wife were activists. Very, very active about it, too. And then, it seems like he just kind of gave up on all that after his wife was, apparently,
In coma.
Yeah.
yes, in coma.
A political prisoner.
Yeah, there's one newspaper clipping that says MI5 denies torturing journalist, and it was Michael Caine's wife.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
So she's just kind of a potato the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a cute dog though.
He did.
And a good cat.
Yeah.
He did.
He had a himbo cat.
He did.
What?
All orange cats are himbos.
That's fair.
We're gonna come back to that.
That just makes sense, you know, Bo.
Yeah.
How every girl that meets him is like Bo's my new boyfriend.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
I don't know why.
but
I just looked at that big fat orange cat. I was like, that's my new boyfriend.
I really don't understand that sense of
All
I don't
orange
know
cats are
either.
himbos.
I don't know either. But I looked at that big orange fatty and I knew that was my new boyfriend.
yeah, you did the
Much-
same thing with me.
Damn it, that's the joke I was about to make. And you cut me up.
Oh god.
I have red hair and I'm rather heavy set. I'm a portly gentleman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so Michael Caine is like the one decent person that they meet on their travels.
Yeah.
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 Because he's the only one that doesn't want to exploit the baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just straight up wants to help and decides to help with, I mean, respect to Michael Caine, the worst plan in the whole world.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, we'll throw them into a concentration camp.
Yeah, because there's one guard that I'm on half decent terms with because I sell him pot.
Yeah, who turns out is a psycho. He's a bad dude.
Yeah,
Yeah, just-
Sid.
Just real bad.
Ugh. Sid, who only refers to himself in the third person.
Unless he's about to enact violence on someone.
Okay, but like, I got so weirdly mad about this is like when they go to meet Sid, they have to go to this weird abandoned hospital and then like wait for him to show up. So as a guy in a cop car shows up and the code word is you have to call him a fascist pig.
Yeah.
And that's how he knows that you're the person he came to see and not just some random. And it's like, that's a horrible code word because he is one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, he
Yeah.
is. There's a really good chance that any random person might just call him a fascist pig because
Yeah.
that's what you call cops in the dystopian nightmare
No,
world.
Yeah.
you really needed something more specific, like just I'm out here rustling jimmies.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah,
like-
yeah. Just something that didn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But like, yeah,
pull my
just
finger.
yeah, that
Right there.
Oh, yeah.
Right
that would
there.
have worked. But no, just they wanted like Like, it would have been funny to have Michael Caine's character call him a fascist pig, be like, yeah, he's a fascist pig, but I'll help you out. Like, that would have been funny, but instead they have Michael Caine say, like, 6 times, you have to call him a fascist pig. And then that's the code word, even though it's a bad code word.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it's either A, going to get you... Here's the kicker, too.
Yeah.
Like,
if that wasn't him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, because here's the thing. This plan is going to work regardless on like a 50-50 route.
Mm-hmm.
Because you call him a fascist pig and you're somewhere you're not supposed to be, he's taking you to jail anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
He's gonna
Or-
beat
he's
you.
or he's gonna bust you in the mouth with a nightstick, which he almost did anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, yeah. Like, he goes and he, like flicks out his baton and, like, goes to hit him, and then, like, stops and is like, hey! I'm like, Sid, you're not really convincing me that you're not a fascist. Like...
On a side... I was just going to say, on a side note, when you were talking about the only time that he doesn't talk about himself in third person is when
He's going to enact violence,
I was just thinking about how silly and surreal that would have made that moment if instead of saying, I'm going to kill you, if he was like, Sid's gonna kill you.
Yeah, Sid's gonna bust you up, boy.
Sid's got you.
You ain't getting away from old sticky fingers, Sid.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
But
Just never use the word
Yeah.
I, only refers to himself in the
Yeah.
third person at all
yeah.
times.
so like, yeah, the whole thing is like Michael Caine arranges for his client, I guess,
His one contact out here in the woods.
yeah, the cop that buys pot from him
Yeah.
to put them on the bus to a ghetto where they can meet up with one smuggler, hopefully, that can put them on a boat.
Yeah.
All right, and then he puts them on the bus, right, and then there's a random layover where they just pick like 3 people off the bus at random to get off and get executed.
And it's almost key because she's, like, having contractions. And instead they grab Miriam, the, like, doctor that they had traveling with her.
The Reiki healer.
Oh, my
She
God.
was an OBGYN, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
when
that's
she was
right.
going
She was a
weird-
midwife.
something.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, something like that, yeah.
When she was going into her background,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah.
weird. But, like, outside of that one scene, you wouldn't know that it's women specifically who are infertile now, that she actually is a doctor.
Yeah.
Like it was so weird.
Yeah. They spend, now that I'm thinking about it, they spend a lot of the time making her, like, one of those, white people with dreads Reiki healer people. And then she's like, no, I have the credentials.
Yeah, in one scene, she's just like, she's talking about, like, the before times when she had all these appointments with women. And it's like, how? Where?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was really
But yeah, they just pick 3 random people and put them in a firing line, and then the bus keeps on rolling.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was the worst plan. I had a dumb thought. As we were saying this stuff about Michael Caine Grandpa's plan, was that he reminded me kind of Dogberry from Much Ado About Nothing, which is,
How the hell?
I don't know.
Oh no, play this out. I want to hear.
It was just the way, his attitude and his half-cocked plan. That was it. That was why I was like, oh, you're doing riding horses around, but it's just you and your friend making horse noises.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, I
but
could see that for him.
Yeah. And then when you get face to face with cops, you're just like, please, sir, the man was telling me that I am an ass. and that was, I don't know why I was just like, oh yeah, you're just Dystopia Dogberry. Okay. But that was
Dystopia
the end of
Dogberry.
that. Dystopia Dogberry
That's,
is coincidentally my new band.
yeah, I was
What do you
gonna say.
Electric clarinet.
All right.
All right, yeah,
I didn't
it's
mean you specifically, more like a genre
it's
thing.
like
but also...
it's kind of like
not
cyber.
really a
It's like
band.
cyber crust punk ska,
Okay, I can see
kinda. like a lot of Celine Dion covers.
Yeah.
that.
I poorly play the triangle while skanking.
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah.
Connor.
It's a triangle on an amp with high distortion.
Yeah, and I'm doing a Connor impression. I've taped on fake mutton chops.
Connor's our friend who has mutton chops.
Yeah. I'm also in the band. I just scream into a funnel.
Man, Electric Dogberry sounds fun.
You're screaming Celine Dion lyrics into a
and it's heavily auto-tuned. And then there's like an 8-part horn section.
You know, I can't think of a single Celine Dion song.
My Heart Will Go On from Titanic.
Never saw Titanic.
It's all coming
You've heard
back
the song.
to me now.
You've heard the song.
Did you say that to me, or is that a song?
It's a song.
Nope, just going right out.
But okay, up until a minute ago, this has actually been a very intellectual discussion about
The
children.
entire time, we had a lot to
We
say.
talked about the movie for a while.
Guys, we did it.
We accomplished the goal.
Now, is someone going to segue me into talking about a children's movie from the 90s?
Yes.
No.
It's very popular in the 1990s.
And she still is.
You know what was very popular in the 1990s? Are you afraid of the dark?
I'm good.
Damn!
No, but you know what it is, right? The fascist regime and trying to outrun the government and like the shady underground movement. You know what that all reminds me of? All Dogs Go to Heaven.
I wasn't an All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh, I was just,
Son of a bitch!
I was just about to bring that back to. Oh, are you talking about We're Back, a dinosaur story?
I mean, the dinosaurs are a commodity that don't really exist anymore. In a way,
everyone is extremely surprised when they suddenly see a dinosaur, much like the baby.
yeah, exactly. I mean, Key's baby is basically just John Goodman.
Just imagine,
The T-Rex.
instead of the first baby anyone's seen in 18 years, the first dinosaur anyone's seen in many millennia.
Man, this movie does get a lot more fun if you imagine he's like...
John Goodman walking down and everyone crossing themselves.
I was gonna say a velociraptor. Just
Yes.
fully just walking through, and they're all just parting for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah, that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get the
touch her
last.
claws.
They're trying to get the last raptor egg to safety.
We have to take her to the dinosaur project.
So much of the movie is exactly the same if she's a velociraptor.
Oh yeah, no. Michael Caine is just like old John Hammond.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Why'd you say John Hammond twice?
The dystopia is just that there are dinosaurs now. They got off of, what is it, Isla Nublar?
Yeah, Isla Sorna, I think.
Yeah, like, they just get off of the island
Yeah.
and to England.
That would have made more sense, though. That would have made more sense as to why people are, like, blowing stuff up with
Yes.
bombs and stuff.
Yeah.
But no, just no one's had a baby in, like, 20
Yeah,
years.
it's
Our population is decreasing. Let's start mass deportations, advertising suicide pills on the news,
So you-
and blowing things up.
So you guys are talking about Dino Crisis, the movie?
In conclusion, Children of Men could be improved drastically with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
As good many films.
Honest to
Yes.
God, because then you have like the weird terrorists that are just like extreme animal rights activists.
PETA!
Yeah.
Oh my god.
We don't have rights to put them back in the ground. Who are we to play God
Oh
and
my
decide
gosh,
who it is
I was
and who
thinking-
It's Ian
about
Malcolm.
this.
He's the head of the...
I was thinking about PETA while we were watching this movie because I was just like, y'all are just Amnesty International with guns, ain't ya? Like one of those rights organizations that got really popular in the 90s and just stuck around by having a ton of donors and doing the bare minimum. Like,
Because, like, we never see them have an actual plan for helping refugees. It's just, should we blow things up? No. Well, why can't we blow things up? That we used to blow things up? Yeah, but it doesn't help.
Yeah. We have to send a message for Fuji rights. That's what they keep calling them. They call them
also I
Fuji's.
hate that.
And
Just
it's
call
just-
them refugees.
Yeah, we have to set a message for Fuji's. Let's blow up the Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's Tyler Durden the shit out of this Starbucks.
Like, I don't think you see at any point any of them protesting or anything.
They're
Like,
doing
they're
anything
trying to get the
useful.
idea out there.
The only protesters you see are those weird religious nuts.
Yeah.
That are just like, well, God is punishing us for all of our sins. He took away the one thing we care about the most, which is childbirth, apparently.
That was the other thing about this
Yeah.
movie. I kind of said this in the beginning. Is it's just like this weird, like, I'm trying so hard to find a better word, but I can't. This weird boomery shit. Where
Yeah.
like, yeah, the most important part of your life is childbearing, If you can't have children, then we might as well already be dead. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
And I get that there, like, I feel like there is a generational thing where, like, people a little older than us probably feel like childbearing and, like, child rearing are more important in their lives.
Yeah.
But it's just not like that, my dude. I know
Yeah.
For real.
so many people who are reconsidering having kids or who have decided not to have kids because of the climate crisis. Like,
Yeah.
like it is the opposite of what is happening in this
Yeah.
film.
No, because like if they didn't take the fascism approach, that would have been paradise. I for one dream of a world without children.
Let's do that for 20 years and see how everything turns out.
Oh my god, this makes the movie make even less sense. They live in this dystopia, and there's just war and crises everywhere, and the big thing that they're hoping for is that we can make more people again?
Yeah.
Like, you want to bring more people into this world
That's
right now? Like, that doesn't make any sense!
It doesn't, especially the response to we cannot make any more people. It's done. The people factories are closed.
Yeah.
It's not. Let's start killing each other. It's darn. We better start being good to people while they're here because we probably only got like another 70, 80 years of humanity.
Yeah.
So instead of trying to do things for posterity, we should probably just start making things nice for like the people that are here right now.
Yeah.
Like, why wouldn't that be it?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Also, all the people that are crying at the footage of what was his name?
The
Baby
youngest
Diego.
person
Baby
alive.
Diego. Yeah, all of the people that are crying at it for the most part are women, I noticed.
Another
And
thing that
was a
doesn't come
really
back
weird
up.
take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they talk about him for the first 5 minutes, and then they get the plot rolling.
Well,
Yeah.
also, they talk about it for the first 5 minutes, and he gets to leave work because he says he's upset about Baby Diego. It's playing on every news station. He gets to work. Everybody's watching the footage on their laptops. Like, it's a big deal, and then it's only in that scene.
Yeah. And then he proceeds to get in the car to go to
Michael Caine's house.
Michael Caine's house, and is like, I don't understand why everyone's so sad about it.
Yeah.
Almost immediately.
And also, they, at the end of the Baby Diego stuff, they say the new youngest person in the world is a woman, and she's
She's like a couple months older.
than Baby Diego. And you think, oh, okay, so now she's going to be the new Baby Diego.
Never comes up again.
Because he's, like, a celebrity. Like, they have clips
Yeah.
of him on the news of, like doing news interviews as
And
a
there's people
child.
that just want to touch him.
Yeah, that's how he got killed, is because somebody asked for his autograph.
And he spat on him.
Yeah.
Probably because he's 18 years old and people have been constantly asking him for autographs his
And wanting
entire
to just,
life.
just harassing him.
Yeah, and so finally he got fed up, and the first person he got really, really mad at just stabbed him.
And then the crowd beat that dude to death.
Yeah.
Which, like, that I get, but
Yeah.
the rest of it I don't. Like,
This movie's a mess.
Yeah, just plot threads get dropped.
Yeah.
Like, half of the people in it aren't likable. Like, I don't like any of the Resistance folks. Like, any of them. Like, I don't even like Julian, and it's really hard to make me hate Julianne more.
Yeah.
Like, frankly, it's so hard, and I did not like her.
She served no purpose.
None. It was
No.
just, like, to humanize Theo, and then she's dead.
Yeah.
She was pretty much just plot accelerating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do one fun thing with a ping pong ball.
Yeah.
Use your imagination, folks.
God.
and then send the kids out of the room.
Oh my god.
And then
No.
Oh,
and-
but
and
kids
then she's
shouldn't watch
dead.
this movie. It's pretty gory.
Yeah, no, it's not.
yeah, don't show your kids
Children of
of
Men is not for children.
Don't expose your children to the ideologies expressed here.
Don't expose
Yeah.
your children to men.
No,
Honestly.
I only really liked Michael Caine, and I liked Key in one scene. And it's the scene where they're hanging out at Michael Caine's house, and she's kind of chit-chatting with Theo about, like, her life and what she wants to name the baby. And she's sitting there next to Michael Caine's wife, who's, like, comatose, and she's in a wheelchair. And she's sitting there kind of, like, chit-chatting and braiding the woman's hair.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the only time that we get any personality from her. And I was just like, okay, this girl I like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's cute. That's, like, I know a little bit about her now. I get, like, what kind of person she is. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I touched on it earlier. the half decent climax. This is
Yeah.
why they teach this movie in film school, because
Yes.
oh cool, it's all one shot.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's a decent enough action war sequence.
Yeah.
The tracking shot I didn't even really care about. It was the bit after that, like a scene or two after that, where like
Yeah.
they he finally finds Key and the baby.
Peel.
Yes.
Yeah,
That
Go
should
to
have been
hell.
the name for the baby.
go to hell.
I thought of that right after you said key, and I was like, go, go, go!
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh,
Anyway.
by the way, Baby Peel is ghoulish.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, it's
an
the
ugly
ugliest
baby.
I've ever
Yeah, it's like a
seen.
weird little CGI abomination.
Yeah.
It is terrible.
Yeah, but
Awful.
and they're like, and he's kind of like escorting her out of the house, and the baby's crying really loudly, and like, you know, baby cries, they don't sound like anything else. It's definitely a baby.
Yeah.
And like everybody kind of just stops and like parts ways, and like people like reach out because they want to like touch her, but nobody's bothering them. They're just kind of letting them go. Like that scene was really
Yeah.
good.
And
Yeah, it was
look-
very powerful and impactful.
Yeah, they're walking through the refugees, they're walking past the resistance fighters, they're walking through like the soldiers
Yeah,
that
the
are all
sol-
like clearing a path for them.
The soldiers, like, that's the part that got me, is when the soldiers saw that it was a baby, they, like, immediately called a ceasefire and parted, and then,
Yeah.
like, some of them fully, like, took a knee and, like, crossed themselves when the baby
Yeah.
walked
Yeah.
by.
And it was a great. This part I thought was a great touch. It was after they got a decent enough distance away, immediate gunfire
Yeah.
kicks back on.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not so much. It's not so much just the distance. It's just as they're walking, suddenly something blows up, and then everyone's
Yeah,
attention
they
is now
start popping
snapped from the
again.
baby
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
Yeah.
explosion.
Yeah, pops off again.
Um,
I still think it would have been funnier if it was just like a recorder attached to a stuffed animal or something.
Joke's on you, suckers. I loaded this baby with C4.
It's just a bag of grenades. They pull all of the tabs and throw it back.
Just
Yeah.
one string. It's just a.
Like they look at the blanket, it's like 20 grenades just in a pile. There's a sticky note that says baby on it.
It's on
We've
the
never
tape
seen-
recorder.
We haven't seen a baby in 18 years. I can't believe we fell for this.
It's like, oh man.
I forgot babies aren't shaped like a bag of grenades
Yeah.
with a doll's head on it.
Yeah, we really missed the bet on this one, fellas.
And the sad thing is that scene, like, as impactful as it was, would have been even more impactful if the rest of the movie had made a lick of sense.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
you
I
could,
would have been crying.
yeah, you could fully just take that scene out and put it in any other movie,
Yeah.
and it would still have been good.
Birdman.
Yeah.
Like the,
The
thing,
Departed.
Yeah, that was the first one I thought of.
The Departed.
the thing
We're
is,
back at Dinosaur Story. That's it. I did. I killed Jake.
Okay. Just the thing is honestly that one specific scene made me think that, like, honestly, in the world of this movie and how this movie decides to make everyone act, it makes it seem as if maybe going to the government would have been the right move. Because everyone just stops what they're doing. And, like, even the fucking... Sorry. Even... I'm so sorry. Even the fascist, like, military dogs are just dropping their weapons at the baby.
Well, yeah, and also, yeah.
Like,
this
suddenly just everyone's peaceful and happy and
Theo-
well, for the moment.
brings it up.
Mhm.
Like, that's what he wants to do with Key. And then after that one scene where he brings it up and insists that that's what he wants to do, it's like he completely forgets about it.
Yeah.
It's, no, we're going underground. We're going to Jasper's house. Like,
Well,
what?
it was because they told him no 3 times.
Yeah.
And that
So-
was the magic.
Yeah.
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 Did also anybody else notice the whatever it is that's making people infertile? I don't know if this was intentional or if they were just really bad at designing the sets. It only worked on humans.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
there were so
Yeah.
many kittens around.
I
Yeah.
think that is intentional.
Because
Because it's highlighted so often, it can't
Yeah.
not be intentional.
like it feels like that. And if this movie was more thought through, I would agree with you. But
Well, the fact is that they frame a kitten specifically jumping onto his leg. Like,
Yeah.
not a cat, a kitten.
Yeah.
And then she's Key, in that one scene that is admittedly kind of gross, but she's also surrounded by calves in that scene.
Oh yeah, no, and that scene's so gross. It's for so many reasons.
Oh, yeah.
But just the framing with these baby animals, like, I feel like it has to be intentional.
Yeah, whoever made this movie thought they were doing something super deep with those shots.
Yeah, I mean, if animals weren't reproducing at that point, then this would have just been the road.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's just one of those things where it's like I don't know. If the movie was more thought through, I think I would have a different opinion about this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'd be like, oh yeah, then I understand why people are like, God is punishing us because if it's just people, but also, no one in the movie mentions it. Like, you'd think all the religious nuts would be like, well, you know, cats can still have babies, why can't I? Like, or something like that. Or, like, there's a bit where, like, Michael Caine is, like, telling a joke. Like, the joke could have been, like, about how animals can still have babies. Like, you know, like, there's a lot of ways for them to put that in, but it kind of feels like an oversight to me. Like, they were more supposed to be, like, symbolic or metaphorical, but, like, no one really noticed that, like, animals could still give birth.
I swear it's like Ryan Murphy made this movie.
Yeah, just all the dropped plot threads.
Yeah. Like you thought of a good idea, and you started it, and then you thought of a different idea, and you just went to that now.
And then you had Ghost Christmas.
Yeah. Ghost Christmas, and maybe there are some aliens.
Nurse Ratched is there.
Richard Ramirez, and more aliens, and
that's it.
You know what? Yeah, and you know what else is scary? Clowns masturbating.
And then we've hit 13 episodes. That's a wrap, guys.
All right, Evan Peters, come get your check.
Lady Gaga's here on set today, and she'll never come back to work with me again.
I hate it here.
Just, I don't know. Ugh.
Yeah, this movie was gross.
Yeah.
Like we were saying, it had moments where you're like, you almost have it.
Yeah, you're so close to having a good movie. And you just kept, it's like watching, like, someone get just pitched a bunch of, like, easy throws and just missing every single one.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
yeah. It makes me want to reread The Handmaid's Tale a lot. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, it's the same kind of story about, like, a world where there are problems with fertility and population is dropping a gross amount, and it's a dystopia where, you know, you have to get tested, and once they find out that you can have children, that is your job.
Yeah.
And that is it. And, like, it's just doesn't drop as many plot threads. Like, I feel like, honestly, I can't even think of one in The Handmaid's Tale that, like, doesn't, like, get followed through with. Like, there's even one about, like, where you go when you don't do it, where you refuse to do it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know? And, like, it's very vague, but it's purposefully vague, so that the people whose job it is to have the babies are scared that that'll happen to them, and they don't know what happens to you when you leave that lot in life that you've been given.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
I haven't read it, but I've heard good things. There's a comic called Why the Last Man that gets compared to this sometimes, but, like, favorably. Like, it's like Children of Men, but better. But it's not no one can have babies. It's there's one man left in the world.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do they ever specify how many women in the Handmaid's Tale can reproduce?
Not that I can remember.
Gotcha.
It's been a couple years since I read it.
Gotcha. I was just wondering.
It was all the ones that ate their vegetables.
Fair. No, I was just thinking about it in the fact of how many, because there is a certain viable number of essentially of mating pairs of humans that you need to have a population, a mating population large enough to make a population that is not completely inbred.
Yeah, you were saying it had to be like, what, 10,000 mating
Around
pairs?
10,000, they say.
You did bring up inbreeding a lot while we were watching this movie.
Well, specifically because, like, if there's 5 people that can have kids, that's not going to be sustainable. You're going to end up with a lot of inbreeding at that point, and that just becomes very
bad. No, Peel is not going to be the savior of humanity.
I think he will be.
Okay.
Jordan Peele.
I mean, I like his
Honestly,
movies.
honestly, yeah, no, real talk, hot take. Jordan Peele is the best friggin' thing to happen to the horror industry in a very long time.
Yeah.
One of the best things. Like I've said it before. He's absolutely one of the horror greats at this point. And I'm not just talking about like Wes Craven and John Carpenter. I'm talking about like Stephen King, Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft. He's one of those.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, he's an innovator in the industry.
Yes.
Anyway,
He's bringing something new.
he
It's
absolutely
enjoyable.
is, and it
Yes.
doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was pretty much my main bit on that.
Yeah.
Was I just wanted to know like if you knew how many people, because that could be very problematic if there's not enough people for there to be enough genetic diversity to keep reoccurring genetic.
I mean, if
flaws
people
from
have tails,
showing up.
people have tails. I mean,
It's evolution,
Oh,
baby.
you just don't
Something-
have eyelids.
Oh god. Something else I remembered was that there were like tourists at one point in the book. Like there were like
Okay.
Japanese people and
So they're doing that for genetic
the
diversity in
character.
plot.
No, like they
Oh,
were
no.
like coming in and like looking at like ooh neat like at the
Okay.
handmaids. Like
Okay.
so it's not happening everywhere, I guess,
Gotcha.
if I remember correctly. It's like this one area, whatever. Oh my god, what is the place they're in called? I don't remember. But like in one part in an earlier part of the book, there's like people from another country that are like tourists and they're like neat at the handmaids.
Yeah.
So
Just
it's
like
yeah.
this is weird and we don't have this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Got
I mean,
you.
I would travel to go look at Elizabeth Moss.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah, same.
Yeah,
Yeah. I want to rewatch Invisible Man.
that was solid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on Children of Men? We are at an hour.
I
Oh,
disliked
wow.
it.
I disliked it as well.
I liked Michael Caine.
Yeah.
I wanted to like the movie, but it does very much just fall on its face repeatedly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like much like the Beatles, everything that it was trying to say, it was said better elsewhere.
I remembered something.
Go.
You remember when they're shooting and the guy stops and Clive Owen's like, it's a girl. And the
Oh
guy's
my
like,
God!
I had a sister and I punched my wall.
Okay, so what had happened was one of the fishes, the
We're
resistance,
not done.
one of the fishes, the resistance fires like grabs Key and like leaves a bunch of his guys to kill Theo and like the people he's traveling with, who happen to be Marishka and some random dude who happen to be refugees, and they have no problem just killing him. Like the guy walks up to him and just kind of like he's like singing a song and like just kind of like casually reaches over and shoots the guy in the head.
Mm-hmm.
Like no problem killing refugees, even though they're the pro-refugee faction. Anyway, Theo, like there's the long tracking shot that they show in film schools, which is fine, but it's shaky cam and there's like non-diegetic blood splatter on the camera.
Yeah.
I like
Which-
the one in Birdman better. Continue.
It's
sorry.
very weird because the camera is not an object in the movie. The camera is like the viewer. And
Yeah.
so to have blood splatter on the camera when the camera is not an object in the movie always takes me out of movies. That is a side tangent.
Mm-hmm.
This is still happening. I'm
No,
so
it's
sorry.
fair. We're never gonna be done.
The
He-
infinite episode.
Yeah.
He follows the freedom fighters into the building. He finds Key and he goes to like take her away. And he's talking to like the new head of the resistance movement, who's also like firing out of a window.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, we need the baby. We need him. We need him. And like he's trying to get Key away, and then just we need that baby. We need him. And then he just like turns and he looks, and like the framing is like he's in the center of the screen and nothing's around him. Just it's a girl. And then the guy just like,
A girl.
yeah, like
I
full
had a
stop.
sister.
And then full stop. And then he says, "I had a sister." Like
And gets exploded.
just
Yeah.
like, oh, girls, I've heard of those. Like what?
I was so mad.
Just like
Just
what?
All of those campaigns that are like anti-violence towards women that are like, don't you have a sister? Don't you have a wife? And it's like, what does that matter? It's a baby! It is a baby, and you should not be exploiting it for your movement's needs. Like,
Well, also, it seemed like it was gonna be like,
I have to edit the sound in this so much. I yelled so much.
it fully seemed like he was
Yeah,
about
yeah,
to be
like
like, oh, a girl? Never mind. Like, that was the look on his face before he said the line. It was weird. It was so weird. Like, they were all so sure that the baby was going to be a boy, and for some reason a girl baby was of no use to them. Like, what?
I mean, even Key was convinced it was a boy.
Yeah.
It's different, though, when it's, like, the mother who's never gotten an ultrasound. It's
Right,
like, yeah, it's probably
still,
a boy.
everyone, like, I mean, it just reflects the fact that everyone thought it was going to be a boy.
That's probably why she thought it was a boy, because everyone was like, yeah, you're going to have a boy.
Yeah.
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 Your son is going to lead the resistance.
Your son, Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese, Mr. I'm my own grandpa.
What was the name she was going to go with originally?
Bazooka.
No, that was the female name.
Froley.
Yeah.
And
yes,
then
like Froley artists.
You're named after the two bravest men I ever knew.
Froley Bazooka.
Deal.
Oh, we didn't even talk about that bit where Theo goes to visit his, like, rich cousin to get the papers. And
Oh, God!
and the kid from Gossip Girl is sitting at the table.
I knew that was him! I could tell!
And he's got, like, a tattoo on his neck, and he's, like, playing with a thing that is clearly, like, supposed to be, like, him playing with a cell phone under the table.
But it's paper clips that they put on his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so dumb. It was so weird.
And there's a holographic screen in front of him, and he has, like, things connected to his head,
It
too.
was
And he's
so
just
weird.
I don't remember any point in that scene.
He just needed papers, but, like, you didn't need to do that. Honestly, you could have just, like, she goes to Theo to ask him to get his cousin to give him papers, but it's like, hey, cut out the cousin. Just, Theo, give me some papers.
Yeah, just Theo be able to produce documentation.
Yeah,
Like,
it didn't make any sense.
God, I forgot about that.
Because it didn't make any sense or have anything to do with the rest of the movie. Sorry, go on.
The only thing that it did provide was it showed someone who wasn't acting like not being able to have kids just completely ended the world.
Because he had a horrible adult son. He was fine
Fair.
with no more babies.
Fair. Well, that plus he is exceedingly rich.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The giant statue in the... which also reminded me of something that I'm angry about. He was talking about how he traveled to other places to steal, save art.
Yeah, and he's got David in his front hallway. Yeah.
I mean,
This movie's infuriating.
it's some fun looting, but like...
Hey, it's the British way.
There was like a point where they started to kind of say something. So there's a bit where he's like, they're in the car with him as he's like driving through these neighborhoods, and like he's in his neighborhood, and you see like all this violence. There's like cages where they put refugees. There's like the cult. They're having a weird demonstration in the middle of the street, and then he has to go through a gate, and then as soon as he's on the other side of the gate, everything is green and nice, and they're having like a parade. And I was
There's
like,
an
okay.
orchestra.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I see what you're doing here, movie, but like, you can't have that shot in a movie and then have one of the few, like, the only black woman in the movie be framed as livestock? Like, you can't have both of those things in the same movie.
You cannot.
They're not, it's not, you got so close to having a point. You got so, ooh.
Yeah. Also, it would help if you changed the hue when you went from the gray, desolate landscape to the rich, royal landscape, instead of it all being gray, and I almost completely missing the point until I saw the full-size orchestra.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it just, like you got so close to having a point, like, and then you just did it so bad. You did a bad job.
Yeah, you did such a bad job.
We outroed this like 10 minutes
We
ago.
did.
Yeah.
We did. But that's okay. It's fine.
Are there any other bases we feel we need to cover at this point?
Like, this was a 2-hour movie, and I've just already forgotten so much of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Clive Owen gives a very forgettable performance, which
He
is weird
does.
because he's very fun in other things I've seen him in, except Closer.
I already forgot we talked about Closer until you said it.
It's like your Winter Soldier word.
Yeah, I don't want to remember Closer.
I'm so sorry, I'll stop bringing it up.
No, it's okay. It's just a bad movie. It's not
terrible.
good.
It's awful.
You know, Clive Owen, she remembered you. Yeah, she did. Right before we dropped her brain in a blender. It was a It was a Civil War reference.
Gotcha. I thought you were talking about Closer. I was like, that movie was more interesting than I remembered.
All right.
Who the hell is Mike Nichols?
Ending on a whimper.
I'm so mad that Mike Nichols directed Closer. I like so many of his other
Yeah, I
movies.
know.
Sorry.
Well, we hated this movie. Kyle, you pick the next one.
Oh, God, do I?
Yes, you do. Do you want the list?
I
added to
yes,
it.
I would love to see the list.
I added to it movies that I don't have that we watched in film school.
Okay, well, while I'm figuring that out, you guys should vamp for a moment.
I mean, Banana can just edit out silence.
I mean,
can.
you could.
But look at that cat.
Ichi baby. Are you getting the purring on camera? Or on camera?
She gonna go to the mic.
Oh. No, it's time to bother Kyle because he stopped paying attention to you.
Yeah.
You know
that's
what?
How it works.
We're going to have a little adventure.
Oh, no.
Do you have Grey Gardens?
No.
Okay, then skip it.
It's on the Criterion channel, which I have.
Grey Gardens it is.
Grey Gardens! We're gonna go on a completely different turn then from this one.
Yep, going back to Sunset Boulevard. Bye-bye!
Another one I have.
It's about old hermit ladies.
Gotcha, I haven't seen it either.
It's interesting. Yeah. So Grey Gardens is the next episode. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.
Men, children.
Me.